A lot of you are on the channels of people who are working for the feds. They have infiltrated these supporters, and they are actually here to detract, to make sure no work gets done, to confuse people. When you say left, they say right. When you say up, they say down. Because when people are confused, they won't do any work. Ask yourself a very simple question. What work is being done on the platform of the person that I follow? What have they done to help Rkelly, and what are they doing on a daily basis? What messages are they sending to the people that follow this platform? Get off that platform and go over to Spit and Fire. That's all what you do. Go follow Spit and Fire, who's going to put in the work, who's going to make sure what Rob asks for gets done. That's why she was selected, because she was going to be unstoppable and unfuckwithable, and she was going to do what was in the best interest of Rkelly. If you are truly here for Rkelly, get off the platform you're on and go over to Spit and Fire and follow her leadership. Or you can stay attached to the detractor that you follow, the op that you follow, the federal informant that you follow. But go over to Spit and Fire, subscribe, so that you can get the work done. And don't tell anybody. If you are part of that person's group, then and you want to stay there because that's familiar to you, fine. But creep on over to Spit and Fire and get the work done. And you don't have to tell El Duce or whoever you follow that's commanding you to don't look at anybody else's channel, don't follow anybody else, only listen to their leadership. Everybody else is wrong, they're right. You heard from Rkelly himself. You say you're here for Rkelly, listen to Rkelly. Go over to Spit and Fire, get the work done, and just know the platform that you're on is the enemy within. If you are here for Rkelly, then do the work that Rkelly asks you to do. Otherwise, you're not here for Rkelly. You're here for the nonsense. Anybody that is talking bullshit every single day on their channel, not doing any work, not asking you to write letters, not doing any protests, not calling senators, not calling congressmen. All they're doing is talking about everybody else. That's your red flag that I'm with the enemy. I'm on the enemy's platform. This person is a government op sent here to distract and detract from the work. Get off that platform, go over to Spit and Fire, and let's get the work done.
The FBI hired an informant to infiltrate the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests, instigate violence, and entrap activists in crimes, according to an investigative journalist. Informant Michael Vindecker was reportedly paid at least $20,000 to spy on protesters in Denver and turn peaceful protests into violent ones. He gained the trust of protesters and eventually became a leader in the movement, and accused the real leaders of working with the authorities while also setting up others to be arrested. Trevor Aronson is the host of the podcast Alphabet Boys, which covers how the FBI infiltrated racial justice protests in the summer of 2020. Aronson says the FBI used counterterrorism tactics against protesters.
The FBI used informants or undercover agents to put together terrorism plots that then they could attract people to be a part of, then foil them and announce to the public a terrorism plot foiled. It had been theory that I had that they were using these types of tactics that had been perfected during the War on Terror against protesters, but I couldn't prove it. It was something that I was searching for evidence of, and then finally a source was able to provide me with these records and these recordings that showed how the FBI had taken a violent felon and used him as an informant.
The tactics are similar to another program that the FBI used from the 1950s to the early 70s called the Counterintelligence Program, or COINTELPRO. Under COINTELPRO, the FBI used informants to discredit, spy on, and disrupt political and civil rights organizations in the U.S. Targets included the Black Panther Party, the American Indian Movement, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The intelligence was used to break up marriages, disrupt meetings, cast out people from their professions, and provoke targeted groups into conflicts that in some cases even resulted in death. In 1976, the actions taken under COINTELPRO were found to be illegal, and reforms were passed to regulate government surveillance and internal guidelines. But that all changed after 9/11.
The FBI was granted enormous powers post 9/11 to pursue and find would-be terrorists. And 20 years later, what we're finding is that many of those powers and practices are now being applied against political activists and non-terrorists.
With its restored powers, the FBI was able to have its informant infiltrate the Denver racial justice movement. The Bureau incentivized Vindecker to manufacture crimes that Aronson explained likely would have never happened without his disruption. Vindecker eventually went so far as to try and get activists to assassinate the Attorney General of Colorado, but none of them would go along with it.
And so in the case of Denver, what we have is an informant going in, spying on Americans who are not committing crimes, and then also encouraging Americans to commit violence that without the government's agent, they likely would not have done at all. Would there have been as much violence were it not for the government agent